Today, we will be reviewing the world's largest Denver model airport in 1/400 scale. This is an exact replica of the real-life Denver International Airport. There are a few changes in this airport update, such as a new Frontier Airlines ground terminal, a new realistic control tower, and finally, new United Airlines gates. Stick around till the end of the video to find out how you can win some of these 1/400 scale private jets in my upcoming giveaway. We are beginning today's airport update at Concourse A of Denver International Airport. Starting us off at the new Frontier Airlines ground gates, they essentially got rid of jetways and now they are only boarding by stairs. So in the middle of winter, when it's -10 degrees and you have to board your Frontier Airlines aircraft, I feel sorry for you.
And I've decided that I want to die.
Starting off at the new ground gates, we have this Frontier Airlines Airbus A320 in the Griswold the Bear tail, currently loading onto the passengers, and the first officer is doing a walk around and getting ready to push back for the flight to San Diego. Next up, we have another Frontier Airlines Airbus A320neo. This is in the Bluebird tail. This aircraft just pulled into the gate, arriving in from Ontario. Moving on to the Delta gates, we have this Delta 737-900ER. This aircraft is just getting ready to push back. It'll be heading out to Minneapolis-St. Paul. Following that, we have this Delta Airlines Airbus A319. This aircraft just pulled into the gate, arriving in from Salt Lake City, Utah. Following that, we have this Frontier Airlines Airbus A321. This aircraft is in the Bobcat tail. And this aircraft is getting catered and will be pushing back for the flight out to Phoenix. Next up, we have this JetBlue Airlines Airbus A220-300. This aircraft just pulled into the gate, arriving in from Boston Logan. Moving over to the west side of Concourse A, we have these blocked off gates that I saw while I was flying. I believe these are being transformed into United gates. Since the 100 gates they had at Concourse B was not enough, they are expanding their presence here at Concourse A, and specifically the west side. So starting us off at Concourse A West, we have this United Airlines 737-900ER. This aircraft is getting ready to push back out of the gate and will be departing to Chicago ORD. Moving on from that, we have this United Airlines Airbus A319. This aircraft just pulled into the gate and it just arrived in from Des Moines, Iowa. Following that, we have this United Airlines 737-700. This is in the split scimitar winglets. This aircraft will be departing for the flight out to San Antonio. And yet again, another United aircraft. If you do not like United Airlines, this is going to be a very long video for you. Anyways, this aircraft is loading on the baggage and getting ready to push back for the flight out to San Diego. Next up, we have this absolute beauty of an aircraft. This is the United Airbus A321neo. This aircraft is getting ready to push back and will be heading out to Chicago ORD. And now moving on to an aircraft that is not controversial at all. We have this United Airlines 737 MAX 9. It just arrived in from Sacramento. And continuing the non-controversial aircrafts, we have this Cayman Airways 737 MAX 8. This aircraft is getting service, loading on the passengers, getting ready to push back for the flight out to Georgetown, located in Cayman Islands. Moving on to the big boy international planes, we have an inaugural flight, which is the Turkish Airlines 787-9 Dreamliner. This aircraft is getting ready to push back for the flight out to Istanbul. And it's worth noting they are currently using the A350-900. Keeping the inauguration party alive, we have our second inaugural flight. This is the Breeze Airbus A220-300. Absolute beauty of an aircraft, and this aircraft arrived in from Providence, Rhode Island. And for the third inaugural flight, yes, you heard that correctly.
I did several of those inside low kits.
We have the Aer Lingus Airbus A330-300 in the new livery, currently pulling into the gate, arriving in from Dublin. Following that, we have this Lufthansa Airbus A330-
What did he say?
A350-900. This aircraft just arrived into the gate from Munich. In order to make sure I do not break the bank with all of these new aircrafts that I'm getting, I get them all from the Midwest Model Store, and right now you can get 10% off your entire cart if you use code MileHigh Aviation at checkout. A very small percentage of the proceeds go back into my channel and help fund these airport updates and my flight school, so thank you. Next up, for everybody's favorite Tide Pod livery, we have the Sun Country 737-800. This aircraft's getting ready to push back and head out to Minneapolis-St. Paul. Next up, we have the Flying Pencil Delta 757-300. This aircraft is offloading the passengers as it just pulled into the gate from Atlanta. Next up, we have the cute Delta A220-100. This aircraft is currently getting catered and loading on the passengers for the flight out to Seattle. And circling back to the Frontier ground gates, we have a Frontier Airbus A320neo in the Champ the Bronco tail. This airplane will be pushing back shortly for the flight out to Portland, Oregon. And finally, for Concourse A, we have this Frontier Airlines Airbus A321neo. This aircraft just arrived in from Las Vegas and is doing a turnaround flight back out there. Just taxiing between Concourse A and B, we have this Edelweiss Airbus A330-300. This aircraft is taxiing to the runway for departure out to Zurich. Also taxiing to the runway, we have this Frontier Airlines Airbus A320neo, taxiing to the runway for a departure out to Pittsburgh. Just taxiing in front of that, we have a Alaska Airlines 737-900ER in the Honoring Those Who Serve livery. This aircraft is departing for the flight out to Seattle. Next up, we have this Copa Airlines 737-800. This aircraft is in the MLB paint scheme and will be departing for the flight out to Panama City. Just holding short of runway 34 right, we have this Delta Airlines Airbus A321neo getting ready to turn onto the runway for a departure out to Boston. Just getting ready to take off on runway 34 right, we have this United Airlines 787-10 Dreamliner. This aircraft will be departing for a flight out to Los Angeles. Third in line for departure, we have this British Airways 777-200. This aircraft is getting ready to taxi to the runway for a flight out to London Heathrow. It's definitely been a while since we've seen a cargo aircraft in this update, but we have a FedEx 757 freighter. This aircraft is fourth in line for departure and will be heading out to Memphis, Tennessee. Next up, we have the Southwest Airlines 737-800 in the Illinois 1 paint scheme. This aircraft's getting ready to depart for the flight out to Dallas Love Field, or Sammy Hammy Aviation Channels Airport. I'm currently doing subscriber routes for all of my YouTube members, and if you're interested in joining, here are the perks, and it is $2.99 a month. All of the proceeds go back into the YouTube channel as well as my flight school, and it helps tremendously. So a huge shout out to all of my channel members who will be getting a shout out at the end of this video as well. And just exiting the runway, we have this Aeromexico 737-800 in the Corona Beer livery. This aircraft just arrived in from Mexico City. Next up, we'll be moving over to Concourse B, which is currently housing only United aircrafts. Shocker, I know. We'll be beginning the Concourse B part of the airport update with the regional section over on the east side. And starting off Concourse B, we have one of the most luxurious aircrafts on the market, the United CRJ-200. This aircraft just pulled into the gate, arriving in from Cheyenne, Wyoming. Arriving into the gate, we have the SkyWest Airlines CRJ-700. This aircraft is operating under United, and it's pulling into the gate from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Following that, we have this United Express CRJ-700. This aircraft's getting ready to push back out of the gate and depart out to Springfield, Missouri. A flight I actually just took. If you want to check out the trip report, it's the video right before this. Moving on from that, we have this United Express CRJ-200. This aircraft's getting ready to push back out of the gate as well, and it'll be departing for the flight out to Fargo. And to everybody's surprise, we have yet again another CRJ-200. This aircraft is in the Air Wisconsin livery, operating under United Express, and will be departing for the flight out to Cody. Next up, we have a United Express Embraer E145. This aircraft is in the old livery and also pretty scarce around Denver these days, but this aircraft just arrived in from Durango, Colorado. Just fueling up and loading on the final passengers, we have another United Express CRJ 200 in the old livery, getting ready to push back in about 20 minutes for the flight out to St. George, Utah. Moving on to the other regional aircrafts, we have this Republic Airways Embraer E170 operating under United Express, of course. This aircraft is getting ready to depart in about 30 minutes time for the flight out to Great Falls, Montana. Next up, we have a United Express CRJ 700. This aircraft is getting ready to push back in about 30 minutes and will be departing for the flight out to Aspen, Colorado. And for the final CRJ 200 in this airport update, we have a United Express. This aircraft is getting ready to depart for the flight out to Rock Springs, Wyoming. And pushing back out of the gate, we have this United Express Embraer E175, as I mentioned, pushing back for the flight out to Milwaukee. And for the final regional aircraft in this airport update, we have the Mesa Airlines operating under United, of course, CRJ 900, getting ready to push back for the flight out to Grand Junction, Colorado. Next up, we have a United 737 MAX 8. This aircraft is unloading the baggage and the passengers and will be departing for the flight out to San Jose, California. And following that, we have another United 737 MAX 8. This aircraft is in the new livery and it just arrived in from Seattle and is getting catered for the next flight back out to Seattle. Just pulling into the gate, we have this United Airlines 757-200. This aircraft is in the Her Art Here, California livery and is pulling into the gate, arriving in from Lehue, Hawaii. Following that, we have this beautiful 787-9 Dreamliner operating under United Airlines. This aircraft's getting ready to push back for the long-haul flight all the way out to Tokyo, Narita. Pulling into the gate, we have this United Airlines 777-200. This aircraft is in the Star Alliance livery and it just arrived in from Maui in Hawaii. Following that, we have a United Airlines Flying Pencil, the 757-300. This aircraft's getting ready to depart shortly in about 20 minutes time for the flight out to Chicago ORD. Moving on to the Flying Cigar, we have the United Airlines Airbus A319. This aircraft just arrived into the gate from St. Louis, Missouri. I feel like for this next one we need Darth Vader or some stormtroopers on the screen, but we have the United 737-800. This aircraft is in the special Star Wars livery and is getting ready to depart for the flight out to Indianapolis. Flipping over to the other side of the terminal, we have this beautiful United Airlines Airbus A320. This aircraft is in the old Friendship livery and will be departing for the flight out to Burbank. Following that, we have a United Airlines 737-800 in the old livery. This aircraft just arrived in from New Orleans. Next to that, we have another United 737-800, but this aircraft is in the new livery and getting catered, and will be departing for the flight out to Sacramento. Just arrived into the gate, we have this United Airlines 737-700. This aircraft just arrived in from Cincinnati. Following that, we have this United Airlines 757-200. This aircraft's getting heavily serviced, getting all of the baggage loaded on and the passengers loaded on, and will be departing for the flight out to Newark. Next up, we have this United Airlines 737-900. This aircraft is in the old Continental Retro livery, and will be pushing back shortly for the flight out to Tampa. And finally, at the B concourse, we have this United Express Embraer E175. This aircraft just arrived in from Eagle Vale, Colorado. Just taxiing between Concourse B and C, we have this Alaska Airlines 737-900 in the More to Love livery. This plane just arrived in from Portland. Just taxiing as well, we have the Southwest Airlines 737-800 in the Canyon Blue paint scheme. This aircraft just arrived in from Providence, Rhode Island. Next up, we have a Southwest Airlines 737 MAX 8 in the Canyon Blue paint scheme. This is a dedication livery to the Canyon Blue since they are almost all extinct now, but this aircraft will be departing for the flight out to LaGuardia. And for the final airplane taxiing, we have this Air Canada Airbus A220-300 in the retro Air Canada livery. This aircraft just arrived in from Toronto and is taxiing to the A gates. Next up, we'll be moving over to Concourse C, which is currently housing all Southwest Airlines aircrafts and American Airlines. Starting off at the previous Spirit Airlines gates, which are no longer at Denver Airport. I know you guys miss them so much.
Emotional, damn it!
Anyways, we have the Southwest Airlines 737 MAX 8. This aircraft is getting the passengers loaded on as well as the baggage for the flight out to Tampa. Next up, we have a Southwest Airlines 737-800 in the Freedom 1 livery. Anyways, this aircraft is getting all the passengers and baggage loaded on and will be departing for the flight out to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Next up, we have the Southwest Airlines 737-700. This aircraft is pushing back shortly for the extremely long flight out to Colorado Springs. Just arriving into the gate, we have the Southwest Airlines 737 MAX 8. This airplane is in the Desert Gold livery and it arrived in from Phoenix, Arizona. Next up, we have the Southwest Airlines 737-800. This aircraft arrived in from Detroit and will be heading back out there shortly. Moving over to the American gates, we have this American Airlines 737 MAX 8 getting the passengers loaded on and the baggage for the flight out to Miami. Following that, we have this American Airlines Airbus A321. This aircraft is in the Medal of Honor to honor our veterans and how they have served our country. This aircraft just arrived in from Dallas. And following that, we have this American Airlines Airbus A319. This aircraft is getting the passengers and baggage loaded on and will be heading out to Charlotte. Just arriving into the gate, we have this American Airlines 737-800. This airplane is in the old chrome livery and arrived in from Philadelphia. And pushing back out of the gate, we have the Southwest Airlines 737-700 in the Colorado 1 paint scheme. This aircraft's pushing back for the flight out to Richmond. And here we have the brand new control tower for my Denver International Airport. The real life control tower stands 327 feet above the ground, which is absolutely massive. This next aircraft will be heading to a fictional airport from one of my members, Riley D. Aviation. This is the Southwest 737-700 Missouri 1, and it'll be departing for the flight out to Northern Thornton International Airport. Thank you for being a member. Following that, we have the Southwest Airlines 737-700 in the split scimitar winglets, currently loading the passengers and getting catered for the flight out to Reno. Following that, we have the Southwest Airlines 737-700 in the California 1 paint scheme. This airplane arrived in from no other than Los Angeles, California. Next up, we have the Southwest Airlines 737-700 split scimitar winglets. This aircraft just arrived in from Dallas and is offloading the baggage. Next up, we have a Southwest Airlines 737-800. This aircraft is loading on passengers and baggage for the flight out to Grand Rapids. And finally, we have the Southwest Airlines 737-700 loading on the baggage and will be departing for the flight out to Albany, New York. That does conclude today's massive airport update of Denver International Airport. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel to help support me and to help fund future videos. I really do appreciate every single one of you that watches these videos. And as for the giveaway, I'll be giving away 4 private jets, 2 Gulfstreams, and 2 Beechcrafts for your very own airport. And in order to enter, you just need to subscribe to my YouTube channel and you are automatically entered, and I will post more updates about the giveaway coming soon. And so thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.